We're back to Goodwood now. For the play poker at gcasino.com nursery, non-runner number 14, Silly Billy. Jockey change, number 7 is ridden by Fergus Sweeney. Eucharist is the 3-1 favourite from 11 to 4. Bahamian Sunset is 5-1 from 13 to 2. Dolly Parton is 7-1 from 6s. Majestic Miles, who keeps improving, is 8-1. Likeable horse. Goodwood Treasure 8-1. Rossetti 9-1 from 11s. Puddle Duck 11s. Golden Tourist 16s. Style and Panache is 20-1. With Hindsight 20-1. Saucy Buck 33s. Kinray is 33-1. Danzig's Grandchild 40s, along with Barrister.
$4.50 is a nursery. It's been won by Dandy Nichols the last 4 years. Kevin Ryan's trying to stand in his way, courtesy of this colt, Puddle Duck. He looks well.
Well, he's a colt on the up. Good winner at Chester last time. Got a dream run through on the inside that day. Drawn 3, but tracked over to the rail and stayed on strongest. With Hindsight, was third that day and is now £2 better off. The winner is £5 higher, and I have to say I'm not sure that the strength of that Chester form is enough to win this tougher race.
Just behind him, just taking a cut across the paddock there, is 8 Rossetti, who'll be ridden by Hayley Turner.
Well, it's a Richard Hannon 2-year-old. It's not ridden by Richard Hughes, but that isn't going to stop him running well. I like the style of his win at Chepstow last time, and interesting jockey booking.
And don't read too much into the jockey bookings, because I'm not sure Hayley Turner, Richard Hughes will be able to do 8 stone 7. Number 10 here is Saucy Buck. Saucy Buck's trained by Mick Shannon, one of the most exposed in this race, in truth.
Yeah, you'd expect, after one win from 8 starts, that this fellow has no secrets from the handicapper and therefore will be vulnerable in a race where he's got plenty of unexposed types against him.
Well, this one's really interesting behind number 9, Dolly Parton, bidding to give Dandy his 5th consecutive win in this. She looks as fit as a flea. I love the seller going into a nursery angle because it stops the handicapper getting him.
You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? As you say, first time into handicap company, 2 wins. I can't get excited about the form. I think she's been very high in the market because of the fact that Dandy's won this for the last 4 years, which is some record, and whatever he's picked out for this race has to be taken seriously. Yeah,
I think she's got a chance here, Andrew. We'll discuss that in a little while. Let's come have a look at number 12, Golden Taurus. John Hills has booked David Probert to ride him. He's got no weight, and he's quite a good-looking horse, close coupled sort.
Yeah, well, interesting that he's stepping up from 5 to 6. I think that's quite a positive. It gives him scope for improvement, basically. I think the handicap has been fair, but nothing more in terms of giving him a mark on the form he showed so far. That third at Sandown last time seemed to expose his limitations at 5 furlongs anyway.
Behind him is the interestingly named Danzig's Grandchild, number 13, a filly by Anabar.
Yeah, this one, in contrast, is dropping back from 7 to 6. Has shown speed and hasn't seemed to get home over 7. So, it looks a step in the right direction. Drawn in the middle, stall 7. He's got enough experience. He's a chance.
OK, we're going to wander over and pluck out a few more in this field. It's a good nursery. It's always very competitive. This is With Hindsight, one of the better ones, according to the handicapper, for a yard that's coming back into form, Clive Cox, but he's getting quite warm.
Yeah, that would be one of the paddock negatives on that score. Yeah, and in his head and so on, he looks calm enough. At Chester last time, he did have the plum draw in stall 1, tried to make the most of it and use his pace, but in the end set the race up for a closer.
Number 1 behind is Majestic Miles, 3 wins from 4 starts.
Yeah, you can't argue with that too much, can you? Richard Fahey, he's got plenty of strength. The fact that he's sending this one down here is significant. But where else do you go with a horse who's already won a Pontefract nursery in tough game style last time? It seems that he's got a solid chance each way.
Okay, and now we'll take a few more of this clutch, and it's always competitive. It surprises you how lightly weighted some of these very decent looking types are in a race like this. Over here is number 13 Danzig's Grandchild, we've already seen. 7 Puddle Duck we had a look at a few moments ago, as we did 8 Rossetti. We'll wait for 1 or 2 more to come round and try and pick out just as many as we can to get through.
That was earlier, but they're loading quite quickly. Eucharist is 130 and drifting from 11 to 4. Bahamian Sunset 5-1 from 13 to 2. Majestic Miles 8-1. Goodwood Treasure 8-1. 9-1 from 6 is Dolly Parton. 10-1 bar.
So Eucharist then seeking to give Richard Hughes this record-breaking 9th win of the week. Andrew Barr and I had a good look at an awful lot of these in the paddock. I must say Puddle Duck was the one that impressed me the most on paddock appearance, Andrew.
Yeah, he's a good sort, isn't he? Nice style of win at Chester, but I have to say I thought this was a much tougher race. If I had to pick one, what was I thinking? I thought Goodwood Treasure was the value. It wasn't the paddock pick there, was she?
No, she looked a little dull in her coat, I thought. Dolly Parton looked very fit. She's come the selling route into this nursery for Dandy Nichols, who seeks to win the race for the 5th consecutive time. So all sorts of records here. Goodwood Treasure, for the Goodwood Racehorse Owners Group, is not flying the red and yellow livery particularly proudly at the moment.
No, a bit edgy in stalls, which is a shame. Hopefully she won't be in there too much longer. Eucharist, obviously, if she wins, you say, well, it was obvious. She was so impressive at Kempton last time. To get that field strung out so in such a remarkable manner, and gets in here off a mark of 83 is okay. The previous third at Windsor to Marlinka. Well, Marlinka went on to win a listed race in Vichy, and she was only 2 lengths behind that filly in that race at Windsor. So yeah, it's a tough race, but we shall learn a lot.
We shall. Rossetti and Kincraigie will be the last ones forward. Goodwood Treasure continues to play up in the stalls. Richard Hoyles for the 6th time today.
Handler moves away. A couple were restive. See how they jump. They're all in and they're off. In actual fact, they broke away to a pretty good line. Goodwood Treasure was one of the fastest into stride as they raced through the first furlong. Got a little isolated breakaway group of 3 with Hindsight. Barista are also in this near side group with Style and Panache. Majestic Miles crossed over to the far side group, which are headed by Dolly Parton, Golden Taurus and Bahamian Sunset, with Kincraigie through the first furlong or so. They're being tracked by Danzig's grandchild at the rear of that group, Goodwood Treasure. Also the green and white of Rossetti, and on the extreme left is Saucy Buck. So that group are led by Dolly Parton. The breakaway trio continue to be up there with them, with Hindsight on the stand side in company with Style and Panache, who's moved through with Barista to possibly just about shade that near side group. At this stage they are on terms. Dolly Parton with Golden Taurus, then Majestic Miles, the noseband of Puddle Duck. Style and Panache continuing to do best of those on the near side. Eucharist met trouble in running then when trying to improve, so it's Majestic Miles from Puddle Duck under the near side rail. Barista is plenty close enough. Barista under this near side, then comes Eucharist out towards the middle of the racecourse. Majestic Miles it is who leads from Puddle Duck. Barista on the near side, over on the far side. Eucharist is now in full flow. Majestic Miles, Eucharist, Richard Hughes sensing a taste of history, and again with precision timing. The feature of the week, 9 winners, a record for Richard Hughes, Eucharist and Richard Hannon. Majestic Miles and Rossetti, who ran home from Bahamian Sunset, Puddle Duck and Barista.
How did he do it? Eucharist all but wiped out with a furlong and a half to run. Hughes breaks the Goodwood record, the only jockey in history to ride 9 winners at this famous meeting. He breaks a record that he shared with Lester Piggott, Kieran Fallon and Ryan Moore, and that will give him any amount of satisfaction. Out of jail. Extraordinary, and able to sit up quarter of a stride from the line. The 100 to 30 favourite has read her script, Eucharist. Just extraordinary. Cast your eye, red colours, buried deep in the centre of that main pack, sandwiched, found herself nearly last, gets the seam between the retreating Dolly Parton Black Cap and to the outside Puddle Duck, and here she comes, threading her way through and scything down the in-form Majestic Miles in the shadow of the post. Wonderful stuff, Andrew. What a way to end the week for Richard Hughes.
Oh, well, he punched the air when he came in on Pausanias after the last race. Maybe he'll do a flying dismount after this one, because that was extraordinary. Richard Hannon, the trainer, has been saying time and again, he gives me heart attacks, this fella, the way he comes late. Well, I should think they'd thrown that one away. They must have thought all chance was gone. Remarkable.
Richard Hannon is walking past us now. Richard, we're just marvelling at how this man does this time and time again.
What a heart attack job, wasn't it?
Giving us all heart failure. Just, if you will, for a moment, the record-breaking Goodwood jockey, the only man in history to ride 9 winners in a week. You might be the only man in history to have trained 9 winners in a week here at Glorious Goodwood. That must be something we need to check out. But I must say, on behalf of Racing UK, we're very privileged to have our armband on him at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, He's different gear, the bugger, isn't he? You know, I don't know really what switches him on, but we've had a great week. I mean, what can you say from there?
And people talk about jockeys riding with confidence, Rich. I mean, that was the perfect example of it. That filly was all but knocked over a furlong and a half out.
Yeah, well, that's him, innit? I don't know what he does, but he gets some balance, I suppose. Very good jockey. Thank God I've got the best retainer in the world. He's married to my daughter.
That's one way of getting it, of course.
Of course. Throw him into the...
Will there be quite a serious celebration tonight, just to recognise what a week it's been?
There'll be no celebration any more than any other day, really. We might have a drink in the pub on the way home, but that'll be it. I've got to go to Newbury tomorrow, you know.
So have I. I'll see you there. A few more winners. Listen, Richard, many congratulations. What a week.
Thank you very much.
Richard Hannon, a credit to his profession, and Richard Hughes likewise. Let's take this from the stalls and see how he produced this, this horse from just an impossible position, really. And people who down the years haven't been huge fans of Richard Hughes and will say, well, this is what he's done. He's ridden horses with so much confidence, coolness, sometimes borderline arrogance, that sometimes he just doesn't get out in time. But when it's working for him, his timing's like clockwork, Andrew.
But the people have misunderstood Richard Hughes for a long time, because he has the ability to settle horses. If a horse pulls too hard, it's not going to win anything. This horse, she's on the edge there, isn't she? You can see she's taking a real tug.
She was fierce,
She was. And, any lesser jockeys than Richard Hughes don't get them to settle quite well enough. He's on the cusp of her running away. He gets her settled. He can only do that by being buried. And when you're buried, you're going to run into trouble. He gets into the schmozzle. He's trying to get out, and then the door closes on him. So, that's just race riding. It goes wrong sometimes. But he had enough in hand. Here we are. You can hear the reception in the background.
He had enough in hand, as you say, and his sixth sense of the location of the winning line has been nothing short of extraordinary. And again, he's just able to half take it easy in the shadow of the post, and he has just been given some reception here by the Goodwood crowd as he's come in aboard Eucharist. We'll take it on the head on. We must talk about horses who've run well in this race. Dolly Parton was cheap speed today, and she was one of the horses that backed into Hughes on Eucharist. Horses who showed up well early included Golden Taurus, Purple Cat. The three on the stand side were really done with before they got to the 2 furlong pole, but certainly Barrister off bottom weight performed with credit far right of picture, as to a lesser extent did Style and Panache in the swamp in the middle of the course. Far left, rather out of things, was Saucy Buck. Action unfolding. Form horses, top weights coming to the fore. Majestic Miles, overhauled by Eucharist, with Puddle Luck running a mighty race. I mean, it looks a strong form race. The other Hannon runner, Rossetti, has run well too, green and yellow colours.
Yeah, she has. She got the eye staying on. He did, beg your pardon. But you got to feel a bit sorry for Majestic Miles. He was clear of the trouble, admittedly, and he made the best of his way home from the front, going for a fourth win out of 5 starts. And Eucharist, has given herself a lot to do by accident. She was caught up in traffic, and it was lucky that she had enough in hand to get there. I don't think you could say, this was fantastic timing from Richard Hughes. Basically he was flat out once he could get into clear daylight. But as you say, in the dying strides, he knows, as a man riding with ultimate confidence, that he's got there. He can just, take a tug in the last stride just to make it look even better.
Eucharist has won a record-breaking week for Richard Hughes. Somehow everybody fancied that Hannon and Hughes would have a good week, but I don't think anyone thought it would be this good. 9 apiece for the pair.
Absolutely amazing. We've checked as far back as 1981, or Seb Vance, who works for us, has, and the best that he can find is Sir Michael Stout with 6 winners in 1989, so that's been left standing by Richard Hughes. First, number 2, Eucharist, the 130 favourite. Richard Hughes riding for Richard Hannon, won by a neck from number 1, Majestic Miles at 8-1. Third, number 8, Rossetti at 9-1. The tote paid for the win £3.70, and the places 2.10, 2.30 and 3.40. The exacta £25.20, non-winner 14 and 14 ran. What a fantastic week it has been for Messrs Hughes and Hannon. Hasn't finished yet. The winning time for Eucharist is 1 minute 13.36. Hallelujah.
ahead in front, and a better bet. Blue Square, proud partners of Racing UK.
Well, it's a charming little watercolour, late 19th century, by